Alright, so let's study addition of integers. I have four different situations here I want to discuss. The first is adding two positive integers. The second is adding two negative integers. The third is adding one positive and then one negative integers. And of course, last but not the least, I want to emphasize the rules. And in the last thing is about adding positive and negative integers. So the number of integers is going to be 3, 4, 5. So any number of integers, it should be more than 2. All right, so let's focus on the first scenario, adding two positive integers. So there's a rule for that, and the rule is simply add the values. The result is always positive. All right. For example, 5 plus 3. 5 is positive as long as you don't see any sign. That means it's positive. 3 is positive as well. So 5 plus 3 is equal to 8. That's the answer. All right, let's go to the next one, adding two negative integers. So the rule is add their absolute values and the result remains negative. So for example, negative 7 plus negative 2. Both are negative, you simply add 7 and 2, that equals 9. And since both of them are negative, you just need to put the negative sign. All right, so the answer is negative 9. All right, so this one we have a 1 positive and a 1 negative. So the rule is subtract the smaller absolute value from the larger absolute value. And of course, the sign of the answer depends on the larger absolute value. I was not able to include that, but I want to say it. So the sign of the answer depends on the sign of the larger value. So for example here, consider the 10 and 3. Forget about the sign. So 10 and 3. The larger number is positive, so the answer will be positive. What are we going to do? Subtract. So what's 10 minus 3? The answer will be 7. So the answer is positive 7. Okay? Right, so in this case, the larger number is negative. So the larger number is negative. We have a 13 and the 4. Again, forget about the sign first. 13 is higher than 4. And 13 is negative, so the answer here will be negatives. 13 minus 4 equals 9. So the answer will be negative 9. So it will be 13 minus 4. But since 13 is negative, that will be the sign of our answer, which is negative 9. All right, so adding a positive and negative integer. So this time, this involves more than one or more than two integers. So for example, here we have 2 plus negative 4 plus negative 9. So the technique here is simple. So first add the numbers or the integers that have the same sign. So negative 4 and negative 9, both of them are negative. So we simply add them, right? So that's negative 13. All right. So next is, let's add 2 plus negative 13. Since they have different signs, we will subtract them. But 13 is higher than 2. And 2 is positive and 13 is negative. So since 13 is higher than 2, the final answer will be negative. Alright, so this will be 13 minus 2, which is equal to 11. Alright, 13 minus 2, you will subtract them if they have different signs. And the sign of the answer depends on the sign of the larger number. Alright, let's answer this one. Okay, so we have two positives and one negative. Combine the ones that have the same sign. So that's 9. This is plus negative 4. Again, they have different signs. 9 is higher than 4. 9 is positive, so the answer will be positive. We need to subtract them. So 9 minus 4 is equal to 5. So the answer is equal to positive 5. All right. Let's go to the... Oh, no, I'm just checking. Let's go to the second to the last example. We have four integers here, negative 4, negative 9, 5, and negative 2. Again, my advice is add first the ones that have the same sign. So this 3. So you have 4, 9, and 2. That equals 15, right? So that's 15. All of them are negative, so the answer will be negative 15. 4 and 2 is negative 13, and then you add 2 is 15. So I'll bring down the 5, the plus 5. Now these two have different signs, okay? 15 is higher than 5, but 15 is negative, so the higher number should be negative. We need to subtract them because they have different signs. So 15 minus 5 equals 10. So the answer is equal to 10. Let's go to the last example. All right, so here we have two positive and two negative. So we need to add the negatives and the positive. Okay, let's add the positive. 4 plus 5, that's 9. And then here, negative 2 plus negative 8, that's negative 10. So this is 9 plus negative 10. They have different signs, and since the larger number is negative, the final answer will be negative. And then we need to subtract them because they have different signs. 10 minus 9 equals 1. So the answer is equal to negative 1. All right, so I hope you learned this lesson. Thank you for watching and have a nice day. Bye.